Happy Legends release week! This video has nothing to do with the new game. I am a big fan of Pecharunt, and no, it did not just hypnotize me into saying that. Let's not have a repeat of the summer of 23. It has been suggested to me that I should make Pokemon based on berries, and at first I was like, that's a cool idea. Surprised Game Freak hasn't done that yet. And then at second, I was like, oh wait. Now, plenty of berry Fakemon do exist, and they're all very awesome, but I want to expand on Pecharunt's design and lore and give it a whole entire family. So I'm gonna do that. Welcome to the berry video. The first berry I have chosen to runtify, if that's a word at all, is the cherry berry. You know, I only just recently learned over the past year or so that the berry names reference real life fruit. Like, the cherry berry is really just a cherry. How did this never register to me in the past? Am I an idiot or something? Before you answer that, let me run you through what my process is for these berrymons. So basically, Pecharunt is like a cursed Pechaberry, I suppose. Well, it's not actually a berry, it's a creature resembling Mochi that lives inside of a shell that resembles a Pechaberry. So there you have it. We're not actually drawing berries, just creatures that live in shells that resemble berries. And then the creatures resemble dessert. It's a whole thing. Pecharunt is all about that poison mind control, no treble, so we're gonna have our cherry creature be one with the paralysis. I gave it an electric-ish tail to really show that off. Or is it hair? You know, we'll never know. The body itself wasn't the hard part, it's actually the shell that's gonna give me trouble. See, I really want this to be a faithful member of whatever Pecharunt is, worthy of its very own loyal 3 or lousy 3. However you see it. I got a pretty good composition down, and all I really needed to do was warp it a bit so that the proportions look good, and then for the inner pit, I made it sort of heart-shaped. But this is my first of the 3 that I'm doing, so at this stage I hadn't really set any real rules for my designs, but in the next couple of designs I make sure this inner core is more aligned with the shape of the Pokemon that lives inside of it. Now it is time to draw in the face. I didn't really take notice of it before, but Pecharunt has a really cute headband, so I guess all my berrymons are just gonna have to have cute headbands from now on. The faces were pretty tricky to sketch in as well, again due to its proportions. I found myself working on a lot of parts all at once because that was really the only way I could wrap my head around getting all the facial features to look right and all be the right size. It's just one of those Pokemon where even the slightest difference in eye size could derail the entire look and make it look like a knockoff design, even though I'm literally making knockoff designs, but that's not the point here. Now for the colors, which I mostly reference the cherry berry for, especially that red. I noticed the outer shell is the same color as the face on Pecharunt, so I'll be carrying on that trend across all of my designs. I think it will help unite their look in the end. And for those of you who were in another tab, no, that was not a Pokemon Unite mention, as much as I wanted it to be. At first, my cherry creature was this blindingly nauseating limey yellow, I think. It's actually so horrific that my color blindness is protecting me from ever knowing what color that is. Anyways, I changed it because, you know, mentally I needed to. Next on my list is a Rostberry creature design. I really like this berry. It looks like a lot of fun to draw, okay? I wanted to experiment a little with this artwork and have a fun, more dynamic pose for it, and while it did take me several attempts to get the ball rolling, I eventually got started on a design, and this time I wasted no time on getting that face drawn pronto. I just need it out of the way so that the rest of the drawing process is nothing but a non-stop thrill ride. Doing this first also really helped me understand the angle that the berry is being drawn from. Sorry, the Mochi lookalike. Gotta make sure I'm using all the correct terms. Once I had the main body detailed and ready, I moved on to the stem piece because, again, I'm not really sure if it's meant to be a hair or a tail, so I'm calling it the stem. I'm thinking that's more accurate. I pretty much just copied the design that the Rostberry has for this part, lol. And after that, it's time to actually draw in the shell. This shell will probably look the most like the berry the Pokemon is based on. I plan on putting the seeds in as well. As you can see, I stayed true on my promise to have the shape of the inner core resemble the shape of the Mochi-like form so that it can fit neatly inside when enclosed. Because this will be be a burn related Pokemon. I have the glowing parts a bit more flowy, kind of like lava, if you will. I'm actually really pleased with how it all shaped up. Like, this looks kind of good, guys. Like I said before, the colors will be very, very similar, if not exactly the same as the original Rostberry. The inner mochi part is red because I figured it would be fun to do so since I already gave it a similar shape to a strawberry, especially with those accent details. Okay, now it is time for the last berry for this here video, for this here concept. The Chesto berry, the sleepy berry, the knock me out berry, the sleeper agent berry. Hold on, idea unlocked. So yeah, with Pecharunt being the poison puppeteer and all, I didn't want to just copy that same concept, but you know, with the other status conditions instead. No, I wanted their status effects to have their own quirks, if you know what I mean. I won't reveal the other twos just yet, but for the Chesto berry, I want it to be some kind of agent of sorts. Like it's gonna control the Pokemon, but like not through confusion, through a different way. I have a unique ability in mind for each of our little guys here, and Chesto's one is going to be sleep related. But it won't be like the sleepy one. You'll see what I mean. This is the only Berrymon that won't have a visible mouth. Since it's keeping a cover, I figured it would only have its eyes visible. Even though its design is super distinctive and realistically it wouldn't keep a cover, I still think the connection is kinda neat. My headpiece, stem piece, whatever you wanna call it, went through a few different renditions, but I'm liking this one so far, so I'll stick with it. Now for the berry shell, which was incredibly difficult this time. In fact, drawing the face was so automatic that I kind of forgot how hard I found it for the cherry berry design. I gave the berry shell a couple of tries and finally landed on a design that stays true to the essence of the Chesto berry, but you know, also isn't totally clumpy. I thought I had an idea for it, but I just didn't want my design to look like a spinning top, TBH. We already got a Pokemon like that, and it's not very well liked. Once I was confident in my Chesto adaptation, I polished up the first shell and then drew in the other at a different angle. The pose I'm going for this one is like a foreshortened, one arm reaching out at the viewer kind of thing. You know, I hope it's working, and if it isn't, then you can just roast me in the comments. Just this once though, you have my permission. Color-wise, it's about the same process as the other designs. Berry colored shell and face with some accent details, a black inner with a glowing pit and a lighter berry shade. For the body's primary color, I went in with a blue-gray sort of thing, thought it looked kind of cool. I also added in accents on the shell, as is the case for the original Chesto berry. For the glowing lines, I wanted it to reference sleep since I've referenced the other two's status conditions with theirs, but it wasn't really looking that great. Like, it did fit in with the status quo, and I was ready just to have it looking quote-unquote as it should, but I want it to be slightly more experimental, you know, deviate just a smidge. You know, one would even go as much to call this deviant art. Sorry, that wasn't even funny. But yeah, I took the smallest design risk known to mankind and made the largest impact, larger than when the Minior took out the Aerodactyl. This looks kind of sick, TBH. And now I'm ready to show you all the final artwork for my very precious, very berry Fakemon. Firstly, based on the cherry berry, we have Cheruling, the pacification Pokemon. It is an electric ghost type with the ability Supercharged. With this ability, Pokemon paralyzed by Cheruling's moves cannot be healed of their status condition until they are knocked out or the battle ends. Next up, based on the Rostberry, it is Rostalite, the implication Pokemon. It is a fire ghost type with the ability Wicked Flames. With this ability, Pokemon burned by Rostalite's moves also become afflicted with a curse. And finally, based on the Chesto berry, meet Chestoni, the hypnotization Pokemon. It is a dark ghost type with the ability Sleeper Agent. With this ability, Pokemon put to sleep by Chestoni will hit Chestoni's targets with a random move each turn for the duration of its sleep. How lovely. So there we have it. I gave Pecharunt a family of 4. I know it already had a family, but those guys just weren't cool enough, not like our berries here. It also just dawned on me how many more Fakemon we can make with these little guys, like a loyal 3 for each, and then more mask Pokemon for each of those loyal 3. Oh my god, the possibilities are endless. Thank you so much for watching my video, and please subscribe to my channel. I upload new videos every single Fakemon Friday or Saturday play if you live in Mirage Island, just like me. Also, huge thanks to Alex, our very first channel member. If you want to see your name at the end of my videos and have access to some super cool emotes, then you can do so by clicking the join button right next to the subscribe button. Alrighty, enjoy Legend ZA. My game has not arrived in the mail yet, so no spoilers, please. Or I will ban you.